TJ the Wheel Deal coming at you live. It is Monday, October the 14th, 8:06 a.m. Central Time, Texas time. We're going to get into it today, guys. We're going to get into it today, trying to get in here early. Got the hoodie on. We working out after this. Working out in the garage, going to get our sweat on. And I wanted to knock this out earlier than the 10:30 usual, and I don't think Amit's on today, so it's kind of worked out. I think Amit's still in India doing his thing over there. Who knows? He might already be married. He might already be married by now. Anyway, we're gonna get into it today. Portfolio update, live Q&A. That's it. I don't even have quotes. I don't even have quotes lined up or anything, man, because I didn't think I was gonna go on this early. So anyway, let's talk about it. We're going to start with portfolio update. So we'll just go at like the 1.5 minute mark. Y'all know that I got the Sophian Soldier up there because my son's portfolio woke up on the right side of the truck bed this morning, guys. So anyway, let me get over here, share the screen. And we're going to talk about the portfolio this morning. Not bad, huh? Not bad. Excuse me 1 second. Got some. Here we go. Okay. So portfolio up and to the right this morning, guys. Up and to the right this morning. I mean, it's crazy. It's like the CrossFit games, right? Up and to the right, up and to the right. Have you ever done CrossFit? But these people are so energetic. They're so happy. It's like you walk up to people at CrossFit gym or at the regular gym, and they're like, I do CrossFit, I do CrossFit, I do CrossFit, right? That's kind of like how SoFi is this morning. I woke up all crazy in a good mood. Why? Because they announced like $1 billion or $2 billion in loans that they're going to be able to sell or something like that. So anyway, let's get into it, guys. We'll do a real quick portfolio update. I'm going to get through y'all's questions real quickly, and we'll do the whole deal. So where are we at here? What's going on? Good morning, everyone. Looks like a green day. Yeah, it's crazy. Be careful, man. Be careful, because this is how bag holders are created. Buying at the top is never good. And I'm not saying it's the top, but it feels pretty frothy. What's going on, Alex? What's going on? Yeah, green. It's crazy. Do we finally break 10 again? I think we do. I think we're going to go to 11. I was looking at the charts a little bit, but we'll see what some of these nerds say on X. I follow quite a bit of people that do technical analysis, and maybe they got some charts up on SoFi. See what the latest charts say. What's going on, Red Hill? What's going on, Daniel? What's going on, Ray? What's going on? Oh, wow. Super cool. From Pakistan, right on. We're going to the moon today. Morning, Naigas. What's up? Tesla going gang out for blood today. I'm telling you. What's going on, Kim? What's going on, Bachata? What's going on? Good morning, SoFi going parabolic. I'm telling you, man. This SoFi is it's like a spring, right? It's like one of those, what's the little sneakies or whatever, where you got to like that, and then you throw it down the stairs and it goes all crazy because it's wound up tight. It's wound up tight. So you got to be careful. What's going on, Daniel? Good morning. Up to 20K so far this month. So grateful. That is super cool. What's going on, Vic? What's going on, Troy? Mr. Wheel Tracker himself. Need some advice. Not planning to roll yet, but how far out would you roll the $10 11.15 calls? I have 680 calls that I need to prep. I'd wait for your break even, man. You don't have to do anything just yet, Troy. That's the good thing, because you're real good at this game already. You don't have to do anything right now. Just wait. Probably a week or so, we're going to have more information. I'm sure maybe they'll do another press release, or people will start talking about everything, and then just calculate your intrinsic and your extrinsic value. Right now, you still don't have any intrinsic value, which is great. It's all extrinsic value. It's out of the money, right? It's all out of the money. So your options chain, your options price is going to consist of extrinsic value until SoFi gets over $10 a share. Then at that point, I would look to roll Me personally, I'm probably not doing it until like right at earnings because then you're going to get like the maximum volatility with the stock on this cycle. So I would wait till like right at earnings and then I would look to roll probably that January cycle. And I'd probably go from like 10 to like 11 or something like that, depending on what the price action's doing, right? I know that you're long SoFi, so you don't want to own, you don't want to like roll out a year or all that stuff right away. And I don't recommend doing any of that stuff. You want to keep that liquidity going. That way you can bring some money through the door. So I would wait. I would wait. Reach out to me. Send me a text and I'll tell you when it's time. I'll tell you when it's time, not financial advice. What's going on? My plan for SoFi. I'm so glad I closed out 500 of those covered calls last week. My goodness, I've never been more happy to lose $10,000 in this account. My gosh. I knew it was going to happen. I mean, the writing was on the walls, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to leave the five. I still got 500 cover calls for $9 in January. I ain't worried about those. But everything else is free to run. I got a bunch of leaps. I mean, it's about to get real fun, guys. I got some SoFi leaps don't have calls against them. Think today would be a good day to sell a few. You could just keep in mind they may go underwater very quickly. What's going on, Kim? What's going on, Melody? TJ, help brother out long SoFi shares and leaps. I want to create some income, but not risk losing the shares. Which call should I look at? I wouldn't do anything right now. Let everything stable off. Let the technicals reset and all of that stuff, and then there might be an opportunity. Because right now we can't even say that SoFi is like overbought or anything. It just went on this leg up. Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. If it gets stuck in like that $10 range, then maybe there's an opportunity to sell some covered calls there, but I wouldn't like to do that right this second. Mega Dittos, you mentioned game day trades last week. This is the new TJ Lexion. Can you elaborate on this concept? You mentioned game day trades last week. This is the new TJ Lexion. Can you elaborate on this concept? Is it a trade that partially gets you out of a jam behind a cover call? So no, it's called the Band-Aid trade. Band-Aid trade, not a game day trade. So Band-Aid trade is whenever you roll a cover call or you roll a cash secured put, and it's just kind of like it's like a Band-Aid. It's like it's designed to like stop the bleeding a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily like heal the wound. You know what I mean? It doesn't fix the patient. It's just kind of like to get you to the hospital. So I think that that's maybe what you heard, or maybe I misspoke. But I always refer to these things called Band-Aid trades. So right now, like rolling SoFi, like for instance, in Troy's situation, if he were to roll right now, that's a Band-Aid trade because he knows damn well that that's not going to fix the problem right here, right now, especially when there's not a problem to be fixed. But the beautiful thing is that you have something on the horizon that you've got to deal with, and it's a positive problem. Because we all rather SoFi here than at $4, right? Than at $5. So let's just always keep the perspective. So a Band-Aid trade would be like rolling out prematurely just so you don't want to deal with it. Maybe you're going to be on vacation. Maybe you just don't want to be like on top of this for whatever reasons. You got life going on. You're like, I'm just going to like do something now that I got to like deal with later. Like rolling the $9 covered call to January for me, that was a Band-Aid trade. What I should have done, it just lost like $10,000, took the trade off and been done. And then everything would have been free to run. But I chose not to. So now I'm going to have to deal with that shit for the next 3 to 5 years on those 50,000 shares, or I have to be okay getting the shares called away. I was kind of okay doing that too. Full disclosure. I was like pretty damn heavy on SoFi. I wouldn't mind freeing up $450,000 in this account and doing something else with it to bring some more static income through the door. Because as SoFi keeps climbing up, it's going to become a bigger and bigger percentage in the portfolio. So I thought about all of that stuff too, and I still reserve that. It's an ace up my sleeve, right? I still reserve that right to just, take those shares. I'm done with that shit. But that's where it's tough with Robinhood because I don't know that they would take those shares. Think they might close out some of my leaps, and that would piss me off, right? So I don't know. I don't know exactly how that would work. Got to get on the phone with them again and see what's up. So anyway, guys, let's get into it. What do we got going on here with the portfolio? It's obviously doing well up and to the right. We're dealing with these end phase covered calls for the week. Not a lot to deal with there. End phase ain't going to 130. We got these American Airlines covered calls and these puts doing a little strangle there in American Airlines. What's going on with American Airlines? I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. End phase cash secured puts, those are dicey, but those are for a couple of weeks. And then we got another situation that is problematic, and that's Riot, because Riot's going up a little bit because Bitcoin was like 64,000. So I got to deal with those two. Don't want to sell those shares right now, but I also don't want to lose the option to collect income. And that is the issue that everybody has with cover calls right there. Your teaching segment right there. Let me put this one right here. Let's put this one right here. Teaching segment. Where's the banner? Or is it a banner? What's it called? The brand. So here's the issue. Here's the issue. Everybody wants to be able to collect rent. Nobody wants to have to roll out too far, but we don't want things to get out of hand. Well, my goodness, if we control price action, all of those things can be true at the same time. But that's not how it works. So you just have to kind of like take what the market gives you. 1 second. My wife's telling me to do something. Oh, God dang it. Hold on 1 second. Where's that? Sorry about that, guys. Had to put in the doggy some pin that we have for the dog to go out there, and it did not. What a pain in the ass, that dog. My God. Guys, get puppies when they're like 12 to 16 weeks old. It's like a pro tip for you guys. We got this dog when he was like 8 weeks old. It is just a hassle. It is a hassle. So let's see here. Let me try to get through some of these and we'll go from there. Teaches your purpose to leave all your leaves uncovered, or is that only when you also have a big position in the underlying, you're already selling cover calls on those shares? Good question. So I have a goal of about 25 to 50%. I want to be up on those leaps, and then I'll consider selling calls against those leaps. But I play both ways, right? Because I've sold leaps against, or I've sold calls against the Tesla leaps and the PayPal leaps. And I didn't want to do that on SoFi. A lot of it has to do with the underlying, guys. It's like how depressed do I think that stock is? Because that's the ideal time to buy the leaps, right? So it's like I want the share price to expand a little bit, and I want those shares to be free to run, and then I want to be able to sell aggressive cover calls on the shares that we already own. So that's the ideal way to play it. But as the positions get a lot bigger, that becomes difficult too, because you're like, shit, I got all this money tied up on these leaps, and it's not bringing any cash through the door. So you have to like pick your poison in the stock market, right? It's like we all want everything to just work out in our favor. But this is the thing. This is your teaching segment. You only control your position in the stock market. You do not control pricing. You only control positioning in the stock market. You do not control price movement. So that concept became very crystal clear for me probably about 3 years ago, when I was like, okay, this is like for sure what I'm going to do the rest of my life. So let me get comfortable with that concept. So how can I best position myself in the market to sell puts, calls, and collect premium and roll when necessary? But I have to understand that I do not control price action. So I can only control how I position myself accordingly. And sometimes the price action is going to be favorable and sometimes it isn't. And I have to be okay with whatever result. And I have to be ready to pivot at any moment, guys. So what else do we got going on here with the portfolio? Appreciate you guys, man. There's a lot of people tuned in this morning already. 384 and 111 on the YouTube. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. What else are we looking at here? What else are we looking at here? Excuse me. So what else are we looking at? I think what we do is we take it one at a time. So let's look at SoFi. Let's look at SoFi and see how I'm playing it, what we're expecting, etc. Sorry, I think my wife's feeding the dogs. That's why I really don't like going on this early either, because the house is like a little bit chaotic. I think we got a cleaning lady that just showed up as well. So we got a lot of things going on over here. That's why I'd rather just go on at like 10:30. But I wanted to knock this one out because I want to get a workout in and I want to go spend a little time with my mom and dad for FaceTimes because we're going out of town. We're going out of town later this week, right? To Irvine and then San Diego. So what's going on with SoFi? Obviously, this part's real good. This part's all real good. A lot of opportunity costs that people are like, wow, SoFi, opportunity costs, all that stuff. All of that's going away. And you see that it's like gotten to these levels at 980, but it didn't just like go all crazy. So I think at the end of the day, what you need to do is you got to always look at the chart a little bit. Now, I'm not a big chart person per se, because I think that some of these things are just like whatever, right? But let's look. Let's see if we can try to clean up this chart a little bit. So what is it showing? Give me a second here to see if I can try to clean this thing up. Is that a Bollinger Band maybe? There we go. Okay, super. So I always like to zoom out and I always like to go with the 1-8. I always like to go with the 1 year to start. So what do we know here? We know that way over here, it was at around these levels, or it's trying to get to these levels. That's from December. Long, that's quite a long ways ago. And then it was just kind of like cruising, and then it's like going back to those levels. So let me go 5 year, and we're going to see that this is whenever it first went the SPAC route and all that crap, IPOE to SOFI, and it went all crazy. And then there was like a double top, triple top, and then it shit just tanked. And then we've pretty much been going sideways ever since. But here, from these levels right here, May the 12th area, 2023, it seems like it's been trying to do it. And then it just always gets rejected at these levels right here, which is kind of where we're at. And this is, this is going on over a year now, guys. So this here, like we got in this little area here when shit just really sucked. You're like, what opportunity cost? Like none of that applies to you because you got an amazing entry point. The reality is a lot of us have been rocking with SoFi since these levels right here. So we really had to like average down, sell put, sell calls, roll, etc., collect a bunch of premiums, try to manufacture to win. And everybody's been real excited with SoFi since these areas right here, January, February, March of 2022. And then this is when the consolidation started, guys, in April of 2022. And then shit like went to the low in December of 2022. And ever since then, SoFi's been making its way up. But I think this is the area right here that it needs to crack over. This is like psychological area around that $10 range. And if it does, then I think that it's probably going to go all the way to this area right here, 1236. I think this is probably going to be a big supply zone. So I think that it'll be very difficult for SoFi to get over this area right here, in my opinion. Now, obviously, you'll start putting the 200 days to 50s and all of this other shit. The RSI is already on here to support the Bollinger Bands and all this stuff. But I'm just looking at the chart real basic, and I don't need all of those technical indicators. I've just been doing this for a long time. So I can just zoom out and look at the damn chart and tell you it's going to have a real hard time getting over this area right here, right now, because it got rejected there already a couple of times. And then the next supply zone is going to be probably in this area right here. And then it's going to have a hard way getting way back over here, because on top of all of these areas right here, the fundamentals matter, right? Valuations matter. And then here in these areas here, the fundamentals, it's like, okay, can't really say that SoFi is undervalued at these levels here. So you got to keep all of that stuff in mind. And I think that is where people that just want to like look at these charts and call it, mill astrology and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. I think that you got to always look at the price action, and you got to look at, okay, what does that mean for the underlying as a whole? Like what does it mean for the valuation of this company as a whole? So that is where I look to like put my covered calls. So if I want to roll out like 90, 120 days or something like that, I would like to be at these areas right here, because I think that this is going to be a real big wall in this 1250 range. It's going to get pretty difficult, in my opinion, for SoFi to get over it. And then now you get all crazy, go like on TradingView and stuff. People will start charting this thing, and you're going to start seeing like Fibonacci levels and retracement levels and all of these gaps that maybe need to get filled from, days gone by and all this other crazy shit. People will start talking about these weird clouds and all this stuff. So just keep all that in mind. So what I say, just run your race. So this is the situation here. There's 150,000 shares, and it all looks fine and dandy. And look at, there's 5 strategies. So I look at what's causing pain and what's not causing pain. Obviously, these $9 covered calls are going to cause pain, right? That's the reality, because they're going to be in the money substantially. So we're already talking about 60 cents in the money and 50 cents out of the money, but this thing hasn't even been repriced. It's going to get repriced here in the next few minutes. So that's going to cause problems. So I'm not going to live there. I'm going to be thankful that there's 1,000 buys at 10. These are going to be printing money. There's 200 buys at 7. Those are going to be printing money. There's 200 buys at 5. Those are going to be printing money. And 100 buys at 15. Those are going to be printing money. Plus all of the shares that are unencumbered. Those are printing money. So that's where my focus is going to be today. And I will look to see whether or not I want to kick this can down the road to January of 2026 and put a $15 handle on it, or if I just want to take a big fat loss on the covered call, let SoFi settle down after earnings, and then I'll just start selling covered calls on all 150,000 shares then. That is something that I will consider as well. So right now, SoFi is already doing us a little bit of a solid, which is great. So there may be a lot of people that bought in that $6, $7 range, and they're like, screw it, I'm just going to sell. I'm just going to sell it on this run up because it's a trade for them. So that's the thing that's hard about the market, guys, is we never know where the people are on the other side of these trades. So let me check in with you guys. And then also I want to put a little invite out here. If anybody wants to kind of like chop it up with me this morning, there's not going to be a lot of trading today, because at these levels, my goodness, there's not a whole lot that I'm going to be looking to sell cash secure puts on. And then I want to talk to y'all about what I did last week, about 2 or 3 minutes before the market closed. I was on a FaceTime with Rob. And it was like, dude, I got to knock these trades out real quickly, and then we'll get to your situation. And he was totally cool with it and allowed me to do it. So there's that. Appreciate the 148 this morning, the 500 people that have seen the link on YouTube. I think we got a market open here in about 9-8 seconds. So let's put the cap on for Amit, since we would all be watching Amit's channel right now, but his ass is over there in India having the time of his life. So there's the Palantir cap on. So now we got SoFi dumping. So all of the pressures that everybody was feeling, Troy Hutch, myself, people from the chat this morning, we can all breathe a little bit. Why? Because SoFi has yet to prove that it can hold substantial gains, right? So this is really, really good for us. So now let's see what's going on with the actual price action here on the options, because the way that it's affecting me is the way that it's going to be affecting you guys as well. So the $10 covered calls, or the $10 leaps, how are those doing? Those are still out of the money, but man, we're starting to print a little bit. So that part's good. So now I'm going to look to close out some covered calls here. This thing dips and dips and dips. That's going to be less money that I'll have to give to close out these covered calls. So keep that in mind. If it goes back up, it's going to get more expensive on the covered calls. So let's just look at the pain. This is the pain in the portfolio right now for this. So right now we've got 54 cents, 50 cents of intrinsic, and we still got over $1 of extrinsic. So there's that. So essentially it's like, do I want to lose $44,000 to take these shares off the table? Because for every dollar that SoFi goes up, that's 50 grand, right? It's 50,000 shares. The answer is not really. So what I got to do, I got to look at potentially, well, could I roll this position? It's already for January. So the question becomes, how far? So this was the strategy all along. So you see, it won't let me roll here because I have leaps here. So that's one thing. Whenever you have leaps, you cannot roll a covered call to where those leaps are. That's just something that Robinhood doesn't allow you to do. So the one thing that I have considered doing is just rolling over here for a debit, and then I'm qualified for all of this capital appreciation, and I can just put this whole trade on Easy Street, and then I can make a shitload of money, because we're talking about 50,000 shares times $6 of capital appreciation. That's 300 grand. So for sacrificing 12,000, 10,000, whatever it is in premium, I can qualify for another $300,000 in capital appreciation. That is something that I'm very, very interested in. So let me see if I can just get that done. That I won't have to mess with it no more. So that is interesting. Let's see what happens. See if that could happen. There it is. I think that might have happened for us. Let's see. Let's see, because that was in the journal this morning. I said, well, I could roll these damn things to 15 for less than 15. That's what I put on the journal. If I could roll for 15 for less than 15,000, call life good. Now I don't have to mess with these. And SoFi is free to run. So let's see if that happened for us or not. Let's see if it really got done. I think it might have. So this is good. Now SoFi can just run and go crazy. So there it is. So we've got the 1,000 buys at 10. We've got 500 covered calls at 15. So now we're good. And then we have all these leaps here as well. So things are looking a lot better. And it costs $12,000 or so, right? Yeah, $12,000. So for $12,000, able to eliminate the pain. So if I wants to go all crazy, it can go crazy. And then I can pick my spots, sell some covered calls down the road, all that stuff. So now let's just look to see what are covered calls bringing in anyway. Like, is it even worth entertaining right now? And it's going to be probably in that $11.50 range. So I definitely wouldn't recommend doing anything with this thing right now, full disclosure, because earnings are on the 29th. I think they're going to be amazing. If you want to do anything, you can maybe do it like right there during the earnings whenever things are like going crazy. But I think that if it's after the market, you won't have that chance. If it's pre-market, that's why I don't know when the earnings are. I don't know if they're pre or after. Then you might have an opportunity. I don't know. But if it's me, I'd be obviously waiting afterwards. And then this gets real compelling. These areas right here. That's exciting, you know. So let's say I wanted to sell 500 cash secured puts over here, or covered calls, sorry. You see that? That's kind of interesting, right? Because I could bring in that $10,000 that I just sacrificed to on that, you know, quote unquote band-aid trade. Why is it a band-aid trade? Because right now I feel real good about it because there's no more bleeding initially, but I feel like in 6 months I'm gonna be like, shit. So if I might be like 20, 22, 23 bucks, something like that, and I'll be like, son of a gun, man. It would have been easier just to give back the 70,000 bucks, right? So that's it. Those are the gimmies and the gotchas. So I do like that there's a path there to collect some of that premium, but I want SoFi to run. I want SoFi to run to like $10, 10.50 maybe, and then I'm going to look to consider to sell some covered calls. And I want to hopefully be able to do 2 or 3 or 4 successful covered call campaigns, and then I'll feel even better about the fact that I just kicked this can down the road all the way to January 2026. But I also like the fact that I don't have to mess with it no more. I love the fact that I just don't have to mess with it anymore. So anyway, let me check in with you guys and we'll go from there. There's not going to be a lot of trading this morning because everything's so inflated. I got to pull up the spreadsheets as well because I got to go annotate that trade on SoFi. So let me see if I can find it. I think it was this one right here. Yeah, it was this one right here. Here's the phone. What do y'all think about that new color scheme on Robinhood? Is it like just a little weird, like that lime green thing? Is it just me, or y'all find it a little bit weird? So 133. No. It was 150. That wasn't it. It's 157. You guys can see that's a huge loss right there. And then I rolled them. Then I'm going to go 10, 14, sell call. That's 116.26. And got this is a $15 strike, 500 contracts. Got $1.33. There we go. Open. So there's that. So there is that. Let me make sure this is accurate. You're just looking at this. 3667. No. 33. Something's not adding up here. Shoot. Huh. Hold on, guys. I have to try to find. I have something that's not matching up here. You guys see that it's 3347 in the options collateral? See, I'll see the options collateral 3347. And then over here, options collateral is 3667. So I got to go find the error. There's $200,000 of collateral there. It's got to be on TSO, I bet. Does it tell you here where the options collateral is? It doesn't tell me that. Shit. Maybe it tells me over here. So options collateral is 1,000,009 on TSOL. Let me see if that is accurate over here. Yep, that's accurate. Oh, here it is. SoFi put collateral. There is no more SoFi put collateral. So that's where the issue is. So let's see. So I had closed all of those out. What is this? I'm gonna have to fix this. Shit is gonna drive me crazy, guys. I'm sorry about that. I'm looking at this stuff over here. It's gonna drive me crazy. Anyway, I gotta fix the tracker. Gotta fix the tracker. The tracker's all jacked up. So anyway, let me see if I can get through some of this live Q&A and we'll call life good here. Where are we at here? Oh, it's gonna drive me freaking crazy. Gonna drive me crazy. There's one thing I hate about that tracker is that it doesn't update itself. Troy, can we get a tracker that updates itself, bro? That would be amazing. Well, my $9 cover call just got obliterated. When would you roll to? I would definitely look to roll. I would probably roll at least to $10. You feel a lot better about yourself. Really, the stocks yesterday. I failed steaks for my family. Oh, wow. Awesome. Grilled. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Hi, looking forward to our FaceTime later. Love your streams. Right on. Looking forward to it. My $10 cover call is expired this Friday. I don't want to lose my shares. Do I buy them now or wait? I'd wait, man. Friday, 10:50. Me, I'm waiting. Not telling you what to do. I'm telling you I'm waiting. I have 950 cover calls on SoFi for 1122. Worth waiting for some extrinsic value. I would definitely, man, you're gonna have to deal with it, right? So it's like you want to rip the band-aid now or later. So it's tough, and nobody wants to lose shares when things are going up. Nobody wants to lose shares when things are going up. I think we already talked about that one. Thanks, Iceman. You mentioned that poor man covered call are talked about as a small account strategy, but require big mullet. Big is it because you need to be proficient in rolling, getting out of jams? Yes. Yes. So poor man covered call is exciting because you can control shares for about 30 to 40% of the money required to own the shares outright. So that's exciting, right? Buy in the money leap, and that's exciting. You don't have to use as much capital. But you're going to get into a lot of jams selling calls against those leaps. You have to learn how to manage those jams. And the issue with that is if you don't have a lot of money in your account, chances are there's probably not a lot of knowledge up here either, because maybe you haven't managed your own money for a long time. That's why it hasn't accumulated. So I think that the poor man covered call is typically looked at as a small account strategy, but it requires big account knowledge, if that makes sense. So get educated, guys. Get educated. If not, you'll probably end up poor, right? Poor man covered call. I mean, think about all these acronyms and why they exist. We're referred to as dumb money. Don't ever forget that, right? Retail investors, we're all referred to as dumb money. So yeah, definitely get your knowledge up. You have a website? No, this is not that kind of channel. Maybe eventually one day we'll have a website, but I don't do like the whole coaching and all that stuff. And I'm doing FaceTimes. I have a membership for like FaceTimes and all that, and that's cool. And that's probably as far as I want to take that, because I don't need any money. I don't need your money to be your coach and all this other shit. I sell puts, I sell calls, I collect premium, and that's how I make money. That's how I make money at the end of the day. This other stuff, I'm just doing it because I like you guys. I don't need the freaking $1,200-$1,300 a month that's being generated from these fucking FaceTime calls. Like that is not going to pay any bills around here. TJ Lucky received 10K from you so that I can start you crazy. No, I am not a trading desk. I started wheeling hymns, great premiums. Just want to throw that ticker by you. I have been in hymns off and on, made money on hymns. It is just not anything that I'm interested in on a long-term basis. How are your TSLL trades? Oh no, let's look. TSLL, where do I find TSLL? Is it just me or is the freaking market like absolutely inflated right now? So where's TSLL? How's TSLL doing? So TSLL was up all crazy pre-market and now it's not. So we're okay. We're about even on the shares, and we've got 5 open strategies with a shitload of cash secured put premium or collateral. All the shares are up for sale. So there's all the shares are up for sale and selling calls against the leave. So this is running the poor man cover call campaign for December, $15. So that part's good. And then I've got cash secured puts at 773, 673, and 573. And then here's the leaps that I bought for January 2026. So let's look at these right here. These are probably starting to do very well. Yeah. Yeah. So at some point, I'll look to close those out. Maybe when I can give in the neighborhood of 7,500 and then start selling weeklies on TSLL. That way I have a nice little revenue stream there. So I feel really, really good about TSLL. I prefer it at these levels and at the $12 range. I don't know what people were thinking, getting all crazy trying to buy TSLL at those levels. I didn't think it was a good deal. Where are we at? What's going on, Jim Park? I follow you since 1 month, and SoFi was 770 now. Yeah, I mean that's just what happens. Samir, master, what's it? Is that MicroStrategy? 185 cover call expiring 1018. How would you roll it or suggest? 118 strategy on MicroStrategy. 185, 1018. Let's look. This is a Bitcoin proxy, the Bitcoin proxy, according to a lot of people. Oh, shoot. So 185 for 1018? Man, you should have probably already rolled that. I don't know why you waited so long. 1018, no, that's this Friday. 185. Oh, man. Well, there's not a lot of extrinsic value there. I'm kind of surprised you still own those shares, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep those shares, obviously you got to roll. You're probably going to have to roll a month or so. You know, I'd probably look at this cycle right here, and you got to make good on $49 or so, $39. So you could probably roll all the way up to like 195-ish or so and get a credit, or you maybe even roll all the way up to 200 and get no credit, but you qualify for more capital appreciation. Hope that helps you, not financial advice. What else do we got going on here? Go to hell, Ole Miss. What's going on, Jeremy? What's going on, Lurker? What's going on, Beneficial? Good morning, TJ. Exciting start to the week. It's crazy, though. There's not a lot of opportunities to sell calls on, though. That's the thing. Anybody wants to click the link, man? Anybody wants to click the link? We can kind of shoot the shit a little bit. What's going on with open? Is that like open door? Or just like open, like the market open? Let's see what's going on with these stocks, man, because I don't follow price action all crazy like Amit does. So we're going to put this on last price. So, oh shit, look at that. SoFi, it looks like I rolled those up just in time. That was good. Palantir, my goodness, man. Palantir is approaching $44 a share, guys. That's crazy. Riot's at 871. PayPal is cooling off. Tesla's flat, Amazon's flat, Intel's pretty flat. Neo's down a little bit. BITX is crushing it because of Bitcoin. Hood is pretty flat. TSLL is a little bit positive. CrowdStrike's negative. Open Door, that had to be open for the market, not for Open Door. NVIDIA is up. American Airlines is flat, and Fubo is down. Let's see my little swing trade on Fubo. What's going on with Fubo? So we got 25,000 shares at 143, so that part's good. And then I've got all the shares for sale at 150 for 1122. And then I got an agreement to buy more shares at 150 in January. So I think that this one's going to work out. I think I'm going to make probably $10,000 when it's all said and done on Fubo, and I'll be out of there. So that part's good. The other one that I wanted to look at this morning was Riot. So that part's good. Finally positive on those shares, and they're all for sale at $8.50 and at $9. And then I've got an agreement to buy a shitload of them at 7, some at 10, some at 9, and some at 5 in the distance. So let's see how these are doing today. That part's good. So I won't do anything there. But the ones I am interested in are the covered calls. So these guys right here are out of the money. No, they're in the money right now. They're in the money. And I definitely don't want to lose those shares. It's a 57 delta. So I feel like this problem is just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, right? So this is something that I would definitely have to look to roll here at some point. I'd like for more time to come off the clock before I do that. But let's just look at the idea of rolling. So I like to roll a month at a time. So I got to make good on the 78 cents. And we go from 850 and we can probably go to 9, get a little bit of money. Or you see, that's more of a band-aid trade because we feel like if Bitcoin's going to be going up, well, then it stands to reason Riot should be going up too, unless they're going to dilute the shit out of us again. Who knows, right? Maybe those are questions that I can get answered at the Riot the roundtable discussion on Thursday. This would be more of a trade to fix the patient right here, I feel. So it comes down to, do you want to qualify for more capital appreciation, or do you want to make more money with the premiums? And that's what you have to figure out. Here, whenever I'm super bullish on a stock, I don't really think about the premiums too much. I think of how much more capital appreciation can we qualify for. So this is the one that I would probably lean towards right here. But I'm not going to do that right now. But that's something that's on the radar. Something that's on the radar. And then obviously the $9 cover call, we don't have to do anything. Why? Because those are out of the money. Those are out of the money. So we're still in the driver's seat. So I don't give back any extrinsic value. I just like I don't give back any premium when the option's still out of the money. So if I'm going to roll an option, it's because it's in the money, guys. That's just like my little rule. You know, you don't have to follow that rule or anything. But I'm like, if I'm winning the trade, there's no reason why I should give you back any of that money. So there's that. Anyway, let me put this on here again in case if anybody wants to chop it up. Paste. Here we go. We'll go from there. And then let me see if I can catch up with some of you guys here. Where are we at here? Shout out to Dougie Dollars. Dougie Dollars bought me this cap, man. That is just heartfelt. I wear it. I even got the little sticker on here still. It's a little True Fit. It says Imperial, I think. Yeah, Imperial True Fit. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I was thinking about getting the Wheel Deal, the Wheel Deal, the logo put on there somehow. I just don't know how to do any of that stuff. TJ and Friends, what's going on? It needs to be money green, right? Yeah, are we talking about the Robinhood? Yeah, I can't get used to it yet. I just can't get used to it. You don't got to admit, and you see TJ live. I appreciate you guys. Good morning, Wheelers. I like the Palantir hat. Wouldn't help you. You won't value it the same. Do you know how much we appreciate you? Even SpaceX couldn't catch it. Crazy. Can you suggest how you would handle? We talked about that one. Got my eye on Walgreens. Thinking about selling some cash care goods. Earnings are tomorrow. Stocks really beat down, but I like the risk reward. Do you follow the ticker? I have. I've been in the ticker before. I was in a Walgreens yesterday. because I need to go by a couple of days. I hopped on the motorcycle. The Cowboys game sucked. I was like, I want to go ride the bike, blow off a little steam, if you will. And so I was like, I'm going to go to the Walgreens because hopefully there won't be any people in there. And there was, I don't know, there was 10, 15 cars in the Walgreens parking lot. So that part of the theory was already not working. And then I went to go look at the item that I was going for. It was a Cottonelle, the wipes, the wipies for toilet paper wipes, or whatever you want to call them, butt wipes. And there were 2 of them for like $6. And then at the neighborhood Walmart, I could get 4 of them for $7.77. Because we buy them there all the time. We're Team Wipes over here at Cotton. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. Are people really going to spend that much more on wipes over here? Well, you get a much better deal at your neighborhood Walmart that's like literally like a mile and a half away. So out of principle, put my helmet back on, secured my backpack because I had already unsecured my backpack with the anticipation that I was going to put the wipes in the backpack, go home, call it good, right? Said, no, I'm not going to pay extra for that. This is just fucking ridiculous. So I went over to Walmart and I got 2 packs of the 4 for $7.77 each. And then I wanted barbecue seeds as well, because whenever I'm going to work out in the garage and I'm going to get my sweat on, I like seeds to help me with cramping, because I've always been like, I always deal with cramping. So anyway, they didn't have those seeds there at Walgreens. These dill pickle seeds, the freaking bomb, absolute bomb. So they didn't have them there. So I wrote off Walgreens. I was like, those wipes are overpriced, and you gotta have the dill pickle seeds. So it took off to Walmart. On a serious note, I don't know if they can fix the model, man. I don't know if they can fix the model. It's very compelling at these prices. It's very, very, very compelling at these prices. I know they got a newer CEO on the job, I believe. Man, it's hard. It's hard. I think there's better plays out there. But is there one like, you want to put money in it because you think it's a turnaround play? I mean, if they can't turn around at these levels, they can't turn it around, right? Like that's the reality. So I don't think it's a horrible play at these levels. I don't think it's a horrible play. You're welcome. TJ, are you playing Tesla? I think I sold some cash secured puts on Tesla. When was it? Oh, here it is right here. Yeah, so I sold some 200 cash secured puts, $30, expiring on 11/22. Up 6% on those already. Got 41.25 for tying up 100 grand. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm totally okay owning some more Tesla at that level. I feel like we don't own enough Tesla because, Elon Musk out there doing Elon Musk things, right? I mean, this freaking Palantir is impressive over here, guys. I mean, look at this thing. It has just been holding these levels, and I just cannot believe it. I wonder if Palantir is going to be the first stock that we're up $1 million on. It's kind of looking that way, right? It's kind of looking that way. Still a surprise they haven't taken these $12 cover calls away, man. That just goes to show, those y'all that are all freaked out. Oh my God, they're going to take my shares. They haven't taken these. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's the part that's the craziest of the whole thing for me. What else do we got here? Bitcoin, BITX, 24 puts. This is okay. CleanSpark finally waking up. I got 500 cash secured puts on CleanSpark for January, guys. Never talk about those, but this thing just making money. I haven't owned one share of CleanSpark, and this thing's just made about $300,000, so I feel good about that. Enphase, $100 cash secured put. This is something that I want to talk to Carlos on again. Like, what's going on with this company? I mean, is it just an absolute dud now. I mean, like, what's going on? What's going on with Enphase? Is there even a bull case for Enphase? Nobody talking about it anymore. We don't need them to talk about it. I'm just curious on the actual company itself. We'll see what happens, because I feel like the more that solar and the energy play on Tesla gets improves, it's almost like, do you even need Enphase? Like, do you even need Enphase? I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot of mojo with that stock right now. Yeah, guys, I don't see anything else. So what I want to do is I want to get off of here and I want to go fix the tracker because it's driving me crazy. It's absolutely driving me crazy. Let me see if there's any other. Oh, here we go. What's going on, Dougie Dallas?
How's it going, man?
Oh, chilling, dude. Just trying to fix the tracker is driving me crazy. I can't get the numbers it's not fucking working, dude. The math ain't working.
Math's not mathing. Okay, yeah.
No, because I did something wrong, and now I got to go find it. Ugh, God,
I've broken a spreadsheet or two in my time as well.
I just hate doing data entry of any kind. I consider it a low value activity.
Yeah.
But
there are extensions.
High value activity.
There are extensions you can buy, and you have to buy the data source from somebody, and it's like a subscription. But for you, it's nothing. That will update the prices and the options prices throughout with live data or like 15-minute old data. Might be worth looking into for you.
Yeah.
Save you on some of that money or save you on some of that time.
Yeah, I think this will be the last. I think that this will be the last year that I do the tracker. I'm firing the tracker.
Gonna have a funeral for the tracker.
Yeah, I don't like fucking with it. I don't like fucking with it, and I have a handle enough on the prices and on the stocks. Like I know where I'm at, and it's just like at the end of the day, I just need my credits and my fucking debits. That's it. Because I feel like I know what I got to do to manufacture.
How much of your own accounting are you doing for your I mean, you don't have to discuss that publicly if you don't want to, but it would seem like that would still help you do your accounting for taxation purposes.
No,
you'll know
what the tracker is totally irrelevant for that because whatever the brokerage says it is, it's what the brokerage.
That's also true.
So it's just totally fucking irrelevant. Because I have this my fucking homemade little tracker that I use. This is in no way disparaging the wheel tracker. It's just a wheel tracker does a function for me, and the main function is to let me know what I got to do to manufacture the win, right?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, this game is a fucking game of credits and debits. And I have this little tracker here. Every fucking trade I do, I put credits on one side and debits on the other. And then it's like, what did I pay for the leaves? What are they worth? What's the unrealized P&L there? What's the share cost? What's the share value? Unrealized P&L there, and the Bitcoin cost and the Bitcoin value, unrealized P&L. And those are the fucking metrics at the end of the day that matter for me. All this other shit about how many puts, how many calls, how much this, how much that, how much this. It's all great. It's exciting. It's fun to talk about. But at the end of the day, like since I'm no longer introducing very many tickers into the equation, it doesn't. And but the thing is, like a lot of the valuable metrics that I get over here, like the total share cost and stuff, I pull those from the tracker, right?
Yeah.
So there's so it's kind of like intertwined, if you will. So I guess I can't have that without the tracker, without having to go do the manual entries. Like if I buy more shares or sell shares, and I have to go back and retabulate, whereas the tracker's always doing that for me. But essentially, what I love about the tracker is it tells me what my adjusted cost basis is. That's the big.
That is a beautiful thing. Yep.
That's my metric. But I mean, dude, truth be told, couldn't fucking Robinhood do that if they wanted to?
Oh, all of these brokers could do that if they wanted
to.
to.
So why don't they just charge $5 or $10 a month for that, Dougie, and call life good? Would
Well,
you not
there's your
would you not pay Robinhood?
there's your business. There's your commercial business.
Bro, would you not pay Robinhood an extra $5 a month for that metric?
Well, I'm already paying them $5 a month. They
You know
could
what
have
I'm
just
saying?
included
But I'm
that as
saying
part of gold.
give me gold plus.
That's more
And
valuable to
give
me
me
than
and
the
give
than
me
the
the
level
fucking
2 data.
statements that I gotta download and try to make sense of them. Like
Yep.
package that shit in a different way that's easy for me.
That's more valuable to me than the level 2 data.
Fuck. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And because they have all those metrics, bro. Robinhood, if anybody knows what's going on with your brokerage, it's your damn broker, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so what's going on with you today?
Working from home.
Carry the show, Doug, so I can figure out this.
Working from home. Okay.
Driving
Kind of a big little sports weekend we had there.
Yeah, what's going on? Like
this time of the
Cowboys,
year is
bro.
fantastic for sports. Right? We had baseball playoffs. We had full football weekend. We had big time matchups. Number 2 versus number 3, Ohio State, Oregon. You had Texas, I guess, won a game because they're not playing anybody.
Dude, we kicked the shit out of Oklahoma. Are you just gonna gloss over that, Doug?
Like I said, you're not playing anybody.
I know I'm preoccupied, but I'll defend my alma mater. Dude, we made that game look boring because we showed how much more superior of a team we are than the 15th, 18th ranked Oklahoma Schooners.
Let me say this for you again. You didn't play anybody.
No, it's because we make them look like nobodies, bro.
No, Oklahoma or
did
frauds.
Did they look good against Tennessee when Tennessee was ranked at the top? Did Oklahoma look good or not?
It doesn't matter. They're Oklahoma.
I'm just saying, dude. Mike Tyson made everybody look like a fucking nobody because he punched him in the fucking mouth, right? So everybody had a game plan until he punched him in the mouth, and then they all look like nobody except Evander
Texas and Oklahoma have for decades based their entire reason for existing as a top. Well, we beat Oklahoma, or well, we beat Texas. I'm like, well, those teams weren't any good. But well, we beat Texas. Well, they weren't any good for 2 decades. And then now you guys are like, well, we beat Oklahoma. Well, Lincoln Riley's coaching in USC now, and Venables is not Lincoln Riley. Not that his teamers are performing all that well. He can get his guys up for like one game in the beginning of the season, but he can't sustain excellence there either. He required a soft Big 12 for a long time.
So there is a chink in our armor, though.
What's our chink?
I'm talking about Texas, right?
Well, it's not your QB depth. That is pretty good.
They don't have the right guy playing quarterback.
Well, you've got 2 number 1 quarterbacks, and that's a good problem to have for one year.
No. When you have two heads of the household, you have a freak, right? Those marriages don't work. That 50-50 bullshit. No, somebody's got to lead.
Yeah, well, that marriage is over after this year anyway. So
I hear you.
You ain't got no problem, Jules.
What I'm saying is, I think that Sark needs to use both of them, because then that would be the hardest thing for the defense. Because Manning's going to give you a whole different look than Ewers. I can't even skewer. You ever order a shrimp skewer? I have a real hard time with that. I don't like guys' names you can't even fucking pronounce, right? So Quinn Ewers, he is just not accurate, bro, when it counts the most. And if you follow his career with Texas, going on his freaking second, third year now, the dude just does not put the ball where we need him to put it on those critical third down situations, bro. He just doesn't, for whatever reason. So he's you ever heard of Skip Bayless when he was talking about the Hall of Fame, the potential inductees?
Oh, you mean the Dallas Cowboys every year and LeBron James?
No, it's like whenever you're talking about a player, when you're talking about a player that are they Hall of Fame material or not? So Skip Bayless has this thing that says he's in the Hall of very, very, very good, but he's not great, right? So I think that that's who this Quinn Ewers guy is. He's very, very, very good college quarterback. I don't think those guys win championships for you, though. He's just not great, dude. And my whole thing is that we don't,
Mac Jones won the Heisman Trophy, and
yeah,
he's not very good.
no, but he was pretty good in college, dude, compared to,
No,
dude,
no.
bro. With all the weapons that this dude had last year, I mean, Worthy, the fastest player ever in college football, arguably, right? He's got the best combine 40. Dude, I'm just saying, dude, he hasn't done that much with all the weapons that he's had, and he has an offensive genius in Sark. I mean, dude, if you can't do it with him as your coach, who can you do it with? And he gets hurt a lot, dude. He gets hurt a lot. Like, to me, the best ability is availability, right? And this fucker ain't
Yeah,
available. And
Mark's right. You've got the best insurance in the world.
bro,
You're
all I'm
not gonna
saying
you're
is,
not
wouldn't
gonna
you make
convince
it?
me that having Ewers and Manning is a problem.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
what I'm saying is the problem is it's not being coached accordingly, because why wouldn't you want to keep Manning engaged? And I feel like they should be doing every other series, or are you going to do the first quarter, the second quarter, split the third quarter, and we're going to rock with the hot guy for the fourth quarter? That would be a fucking nightmare for the defenses, bro. That would be a nightmare for the defenses. He's making it easier on him by just going with fucking Ewers, dude.
I
I
I
just
I
like
I disagree. You got your starter. He's your alpha. Look, last year, Jaden Daniels at LSU. You had Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeyer. When Jaden got hurt, Garrett came in. Garrett's going to win the Heisman Trophy next year if he doesn't win it this year.
who's
Okay,
that?
because he's Garrett Nussmeyer because he's better than
Who,
the Texas quarterbacks,
who is he though? Who does he play for?
the LSU.
I don't know, bro. I think you have a little bit of a bias there. He's not fucking Joe Burrows. That
No,
dude was good,
he's more
bro.
like
That
Brett Favre.
dude was good.
He's more like
That
Brett
dude
Favre.
was good.
Jaden Daniels got to the point where college football was too easy for him last year. Like he was just, oh, look, there's my guys. I'm gonna just either throw it or run it. But Nussmeier sat behind him, but they didn't give him enough time playing to make it an issue between those two guys. So now Jaden Daniels moves on, and Nussmeier's the guy.
What do you think about SoFi right here, Doug? What's going on with
The
SoFi?
first thing I thought this morning when I saw that bump was, well, TJ's going to be happy.
I was
Now
actually, I was
you've
actually
got all these
no,
covered
but
calls told on
I
it, so
was
it's going to be
hoping,
aggravating. But
I was hoping that it wouldn't do it for like another 2 or 3 weeks, so that I wouldn't have to give back all this data decay on that roll. You know, on that $9 calls. But I was like, yeah, 12,000 to freaking qualify for another 300. I'll take that.
yeah,
You know, like
I'm buying puts on my Palantir now. I think it's time.
it's gotten to that point.
Yep. Hey,
Do you,
look,
do you want to
I
walk?
buy insurance on things that are important to me. My
Do you
house,
want
my
to
car.
walk through people? Do you want to walk people through what does buying puts mean to you, like that form of insurance versus I sell very aggressive covered calls in lieu of buying puts, because I'm like, if these covered calls get in trouble, I'd be just as happy as if I bought puts and I don't have to mess with it because the stock went up, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm just saying, but at least I collected on the front end, right? Whereas when you buy the puts, you're guaranteed to have to pay on the front end. So that's
yeah.
always been my challenge for people that buy puts. I'm like, why not just sell not the money covered call then?
Well, I've already got those shares covered, so I can't do that.
That's the issue. So you're buying puts, and what's it? So walk us through that mindset while I try to fix this damn issue I did with the tracker.
All right. So I've got like a $1 cost basis on my Palantir
Good for
shares,
you.
but
Good for you, brother.
they're cut the shares are covered out to December 2026. So that contract has a long time on it, and I'm not interested in buying that back. Right? So that premium's already collected. So the only way to defend the alpha that I already have now is
Right,
to buy puts on it. Now you can buy short dated puts for
right.
relatively cheap, and the further you go down, the list, the cheaper you get them. You get a few cents on the dollar. So it's just an insurance policy. That's all it is. I mean, am I insuring the whole amount? No, but I'll buy some insurance at it, because wouldn't I be happier spending $1,000 to insure, you know, 5,000 shares to have some value, and then have a stack of cash if Palantir does nosedive? Because
Right.
then my covered calls get fixed, and I have cash to do something with. That's what I think about it. It's not you don't put out a big position, right? It's it's insurance. I buy insurance on things that are important to me: my house, my car, my life,
Right.
my health, and my Palantir.
So when you buy a put, and what strike did you buy?
So I think I bought 38 last week, and I rolled it to 35 this week.
So essentially what you're saying is I want to reserve the right to sell these shares at $38 if
Yeah.
Palantir tanks to 28, right? In layman's
Yep.
terms, that's what you did, right?
Yep.
So I guess the question now becomes you would obviously get rid of those shares at 38 if it was trading at 28 because you could just turn around and buy them right back at 28, right?
Absolutely.
Just to walk people through the mindset because there's a lot of people that contend that whenever you buy puts, it's like you're like shorting your own stock or whatever, and people get like real angry about it.
I mean, technically that is what happens, but just because I buy insurance on my house doesn't mean I want to sell my house.
Right. Or to me, I look at it like if you insure your life, that doesn't mean that you're trying to die,
Exactly.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
I'm just
Life
saying, I
insurance
have
is
life
not
insurance. I have life insurance, and I don't look at it like death insurance
right.
because
I'm
that's
not going to
really
see that
kind
money
of what,
one way or the other, but
what I'm saying. Because that's kind of what it is, right?
yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I insure the things that are important to me.
yeah, yeah, I hear you. So, what stock do you want to talk about?
Um, I have I saw something very interesting. I don't have a large position in it, but man, this is one of those tickers that if you look at it, you're like, why have I not been in this for a decade?
Hey, what's it?
Caterpillar. Pull up CAT.
Caterpillar?
Yep.
It's one of the staple stocks, dude. This
Yep.
thing is a fucking bellwether.
Zoom out on that puppy too. Zoom out 5 years on that and take a look at that.
Yeah, it just goes up and to the right.
I mean, you got a hard time telling me you would rather be messing with any of these little tech stocks that are so volatile when you could have had this giant Caterpillar company, right?
With the little yield,
Yep. And
priced
look,
reasonably.
price reasonably, right? So it got downgraded today. So I'm considering, uh, if there's a nice drop today, I'm considering adding to that position. This is on my DCA list. This is on my buy, $20 a week list. So it's not adding up quickly, but it is adding up over 2 years now.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
I don't know. Isn't that something you'd wish you were in? I mean, just that's when we talk about buy it and hold it stocks, Caterpillar, AutoZone, like just let them do what they do.
Dude, Kramer's been pumping this stock for like 5 years, bro. I'm just saying, like, we should give him credit whenever he gets them right, too. You know what I mean? Everybody's
Yeah,
always talking about all the ones he gets wrong. I don't think he's ever said anything bad about Caterpillar.
I don't think so either. I mean, it's a bet on America, right?
Yeah.
Caterpillar, because it's one of those
Well,
companies.
not just that, it's a real good product, dude. Like I've driven in the oil field Caterpillar backhoes and track holes,
Yeah.
and it's an amazing product.
Yep. And there's so much tech that goes in that too. So it's a little bit of an ETF on tech, AI, construction, metals. It's a little bit of everything. You can think of it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one. What do you think about the energy sector?
I
I'm
got a
just, I'm
little
just
bit of
saying, like, do you think Trump's going to win?
I got a little bit of XLU, a little bit.
Okay, that's a
which is
ETF, right?
utilities, but
Yeah.
that is energy to me.
Mhm.
So you were talking about Enphase earlier. I
Yeah.
mean, that tells you what the market thinks is going to is happening to the Harris campaign.
Mm-hmm. Going to shit away.
And look, Enphase and Enovix are doing the same nosedive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, look at XL. Zoom out on XLU if you want to
Okay.
kind of get embarrassed a little bit too by this market. And again, think about all the speculative small companies we've been messing with. Just
Yeah.
look at it. Look at the 1 year.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Zoink. Like,
Interesting.
somebody asked if I thought about shorting Carvana. I don't know anything about Carvana other than they have really, I guess, like attractively
I
designed
think
towers with
they're
cars in
Vena,
them.
right? What are they? What's the ticker for Carvana? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, this thing down in the dumps, dude, and then it just like did. Look at
Yeah,
this.
it had a big pop. I remember
Yeah,
I was
look
listening
at
to Amit's covering earnings on it that day, and it had a big jump because I think it went profitable for the first time.
look at this thing. And this is just all like there was no split or anything.
No, I think they went profitable for the first time though, from that super low range there. But
Yeah,
yeah, look, I'm not really interested in messing with a company that's down from $189 down to 3.
yeah,
I mean, it might as well be 0.
yeah. That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy.
Now, do you buy at 3? Maybe when there's blood. I mean, I don't know.
Look what happened last night, Doug.
Oh wow, you got your whole Bitcoin.
So from now on, I want to be referred to as a Bitcoiner. Okay, motherfuckers.
Whole coiner. Okay. Whole coiner.
Not my keys, not our crypto. Or what are these crazy ass? What are these crazy ass? Hold on
Well,
one. Hold on one.
crypto's been such the Wild West for so long. Go ahead, take your call.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
I'll keep talking. Crypto's been such a Wild West for such a long time that um, you really couldn't trust anybody else with your Bitcoin. So that's where it came from. I mean, that was the best way to ensure you got ripped off, was to let somebody else be in control of your bank. Bitcoin is not just the value of the currency; it's also its own security model. Uh, and so you are your own bank. You are your own security. All the money you have stored in a bank in a checking account, you are relying on that bank to keep your money secure. So let's see. Another question. Smarak, is it Smarak? Am I saying that right? Smarak. Asks Doug, how long you've been trading? I've been trading since, I don't know, 2016, I guess. I started actually trading in crypto and E-Trade. Lost all the money in E-Trade by not knowing how to use margin correctly. And I mean, I had some pretty good trades that I wish I still had, including having a $40 average on Microsoft. That would be nice to still own, and then trade in Bitcoin.
That was my father-in-law. He wants to meet tomorrow. Trying to get
Uh-oh.
some more. No, we're trying to get some more funds together.
Really?
You know the weird thing about investing, or like trying to like get these funds together.
You're trying to get funds together, and you're not calling me. I don't know what I've done to offend you so badly.
No, but what I'm saying is, when things are going like up, everybody wants to give you money, right?
Yeah.
But the people that know the game, they want to give you money when shit sucks. it's real weird.
Part of the reason for that, TJ, is when everything is up, people have money to give to other people. When everything is down, they don't have that money no more.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You got to feel a little flush in your own right, and you got to have the cash. So TJ makes a good point there. He's hinting at a good point. If y'all want to get into people who know what they're doing and give them capital that they can make you money on, you don't give it to them at the market top.
Yeah.
You sell some stuff now and have some cash so you can give it to them when the market's at the bottom.
Yeah, dude, because shit, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Dylan asks, any knowledge on the eVTOL, like Archer? I'm aware of it, Dylan. I think the tech is kind of neat. For me, it's a toy that I would like to play with more so than an investment I would like to put into.
Yeah, so right
look,
now, to me,
I want to get my pilot's license next year. I want to get my pilot's license next year, right? And I already know the amount of book work that is going to take to learn how to do alone, right? I am not comfortable with the concept of a vehicle can just go drive anybody around for anything. Now, and these are going to be automated and flown by AI. Bro, if we can't have Tesla, one of the biggest companies in the world with an unlimited budget, essentially from Mr. Elon, being able to solve full self-driving, y'all want to deal with full self-flying?
No, but this one has a pilot, bro. Like Joby, like they have a pilot. They're not autonomous. They're not going to be autonomous on this first round. Like Archer has one called Midnight, I think is the name of it. And I actually have a buddy who's been in it, dude. Who has been in this one called the Midnight.
Yeah.
Bro,
I mean, I love all things that fly.
Bro, Doug. He said it's the most impressive fucking thing he's ever been in. And this dude has a Lambo. He's like the technology behind these eVTOLs, dude, is like Elon Musk type shit, like catching these fucking rocket boosters. Like it's fucking insane how it's there. It's relatively quiet. He sent me a video, dude. I'll try to find it because it's on my phone. He sent me a video when they were doing this test ride on this thing called the Midnight on the Archer. And dude, he's just sitting there, dude, and he's making a video, bro. And this thing's going up like this, and you just hear like not much, dude. Like it is not, you've been in a helicopter. This shit's noisy as hell, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Bro, these things don't make a lot of noise. It's the weirdest shit, Doug. It's just like sitting there and it just literally goes like straight up. It was like hovering like this. And then it just fucking took off and it was going like 150 miles an hour, yo.
Wow. I mean, I love all things that fly. I love aviation.
Oh, it's just like, dude, I'm just saying, dude, it is like legit impressive.
Okay. So Dylan, now you are familiar with my knowledge. You asked, do I have any knowledge of the eVTOL? So yeah. I have just shot my mouth off for a couple minutes there and got heavily corrected. So that tells you how much knowledge I have.
Dude, let's see if we can find this thing, dude. You don't even know what I'm talking about, right? With this Archer thing, bro.
Like I've seen people talking about it. And
bro,
like, oh, that thing looks cool, but it sounds way too complex for me.
This thing is so fucking cool, Doug. Let's see. Archer, we'll just call it the Midnight.
So let me ask you a question. Are special forces using those yet?
I don't know. But then this shit
is SOCOM using those with Navy SEALs yet? Because if they are, then okay. But if they're not,
so here's what this shit looks like right here, Doug. So let's just look at it here. You gotta admit, it's pretty fucking sick looking.
They took an airplane and turned it into a. They took a drone and an airplane and did a mashup.
And then they have like nerdy people, dude, like nerdy people that have started. anyway, dude, this is definitely one. I was in this one before, and it was too early. It was like, you know, like when I was excited about Neo in like 2020, and they didn't have like a lot. Yeah, they were producing cars and all that, but the big thing was like, oh, we're gonna get to 50,000 units a year, right? That was the big deal with Neo back in the day, and now it's like they're gonna do, you know, like, I don't know, 250, 300,000, whatever it ends up being for the year, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of waiting on more contracts and stuff to come these guys' way. And then it's all about regulation, dude. But the cool thing
Yeah.
about like Archer and Joby is they are going through all the, like, they're not cutting any corners. Like, the FAA has been involved from day one with these guys. You know what I mean? And they have like people that have worked with the FAA that are involved in these companies. I think they've teamed up with, y'all can help me out. Like, I want to say like Delta's a part of it, like Delta Airlines is a part of it. There's like people in this space that are like in this thing. So it's not like that pie in the sky, if you will. I want to say Archer has a deal with Newark, the airport, where the beautiful thing about it is like you get everything checked in when you get into your little eVTOL, and they drop you off there at the tarmac or whatever it's called, and you're able to board the plane from there, and you bypass all the shit security wise at the airport, and it's going to be like a couple $100, and it's like 4 of you guys. So it's
Okay.
just way more convenient than taking like the Uber to the airport and all that stuff. Like,
Okay.
that's like,
So
those are the use
it
cases.
still flies between airports though, right?
Huh?
It still flies between airports.
Yeah. So what they're trying to do right now, like the way to make money, initially it was going to be like you could dial up an Uber for the sky, right? That was like the original plan. And that's
Yeah.
still something that they're shooting towards. I think that's like 2030, in my opinion, if that. Because like, how are you going to regulate all these fucking flying saucers on top of you all of a sudden, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's that. So there's got to
Yeah.
be certain routes that they're going to have to take. But essentially now the biggest use case, I think, and again, I was following this story hard like a year and a half ago, and then I kind of let it go because it was too early for me. But essentially, the idea is like, instead of taking an Uber to the airport, like take one of these bad boys to the airport and you bypass airport security and stuff. How convenient could that be? Bro, this is going to change the way people move. Like, that's what I like, disruptive technologies like that. Yeah, you see, United and Delta have contracted and paid up front. So I like that the airlines are getting involved in this thing. It's not like where the fucking taxis were angry at Uber back in the day. You follow me?
Yeah. Yeah. I I just gotta and you know, and I'm learning more about it right now than ever. Okay. So if I ask a stupid question,
No,
Dylan
bro.
or somebody
There's
else,
no.
it's
First of
because I
all,
don't have the knowledge. Okay.
there-
So
there's
here
no there's no
okay.
stupid questions. This space is new for everybody.
So you might consider me a bear based on some questions I ask or something a point I may challenge, but
Yeah,
that's not it. I'm seeking information, okay? And
yeah,
before I put
correct.
my money in something, I try to ask all the questions first, right?
Yeah, agreed.
So here's a question I have. Let's talk about TAM, okay? How many people are going to be able okay, and we'll just use Southern California, okay? You know, like the worst traffic in the world you're trying to get around here, okay? San Diego to Los Angeles, okay? That's famous for being horrible. Like 3 4 hours sitting in a car. You could bypass that with an eVTOL, okay?
Yeah.
What if 1,000 people want to do that? And you put 4 people. Now it's 250 aircraft taken off, and now they're all waiting to land at LAX so you
Mhm.
can get on your passenger plane. I don't see them having the ability. They don't have the sky space to run a major commercial airport like that and have 250 other vehicles waiting to land.
Yeah, but I think that there's
And
big
they're on battery.
fields. No, I hear you, but I think that there's like a real big field. So whether there's like a little fucking like a little bus that takes you from the field to the airplane, like I think that there's ways there because there's like a lot of dead space where these airports are.
Yeah, but they're empty spaces for a reason.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. I feel like all of those things, Doug. This is my thing. My thing.
Okay, so
Whenever
again, I'm just talking about
no,
1,000 people.
no,
I
I
mean,
hear you,
if
but
you want to scale this to millions of people using it,
let me walk you through TJ's simple logic, okay?
okay.
Whenever there's such a potential disruptor in a space, I always go back to the fact that I think a lot of these people have already thought about all of this shit, and if there wasn't a way around it, it wouldn't have gotten this far.
That's true.
That's what I always think about.
That's
Like
true.
I think that we're playing checkers because that's how we're A to B, right? When we're first looking into a space. But we have to consider that the people that started this shit, they're fucking playing chess, dude. Like they're already thinking about the year 2030, 2035, probably. I know that the guy from Joby, he's a Stanford dude. His last name's Joby or Jobby. And dude, I've seen like 3 interviews of this guy. He's smart as shit, dude. And then the guy from Archer is no slouch either. There's already like lawsuits and stuff that these companies have dealt with early on. I mean, it's really, really, really interesting stuff. So I think that like a lot of the problems that we think of as potential investors in companies, I feel like this shit, they solved that like 3 years ago. We just don't know about it yet. Because we don't know who's at the bargaining table with
Fair
this.
enough. But
Yeah.
I would also say it's my money, and if they want to use my money, then my questions have to be answered, right?
I get it. I think right now though it does set up for a real nice swing trade, and it could pop on like some serious news. So I just bought 5,000 shares right now as like a swing trade opportunity that I would like to scale into a position because I was in this thing before, dude. Like Archer, I liked Archer more than Joby, and I'm not real sure why. Because Joby, oh yeah, because Joby crashed. They crashed on a test flight. So it just kind of made me a little bit sketchy. And then I like the design of the Midnight over the Joby one. And then there was another one called Lilium, dude, that Palantir was one of their little SPACs that they had invested in. Do you remember the Lilium one or no?
I know that they were invested in it, and by
Yeah,
investing it, and when you hear that Palantir invested in it, here's what that means:
yeah,
is that company wants to use Palantir software, and they don't have any money, so Palantir says, okay, well, we'll sell you the seed licenses, but instead of giving us cash, you're going to give us ownership equity.
yeah. But
That's how that works.
yeah, but
No
this
money changed
Lilium,
hands.
no, but the Lilium one was like an 8 or 12 passenger one or something crazy, bro. Like this thing was huge. And again, I was in this space early on, right? So like here's the Lilium one.
Are those jets or
I don't fucking know, bro.
props?
You're talking to the wrong guy. I'm not a techie guy. I like it. I don't nerd out like that. But dude, this thing here was like it was like a bigger version of it. And I think the European countries, I'm not so there's like there's like 3 or 4 in this space. There might be more. There might be more than that. But the 3 that I think of are Lilium, Joby, and Archer. And I'm sure there's others. I'm sure there's others. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's others. But
Well,
bro,
hopefully the M&A environment opens
there's
up
big
and
money.
winners can acquire some of the ones that fall behind that, they still may have good tech. But hopefully they can
Yeah.
consolidate down to a few
And
winners.
there's other countries that are interested in the technology. So this isn't just a United States thing. The world's big, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot more
Huge.
progressive countries out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you also get into Abu Dhabi, you start dealing with countries in the Middle East, and you've got people there that are just so rich, they don't care. Like they'll just buy their own.
Yeah.
They won't need it won't be a public taxi. They'll just be theirs.
Yeah, for sure. But dude, the one thing though that like this is where I've grown a lot as an investor over the last couple of years is I wouldn't have been willing to get out of Archer back when I did.
You would have
But
held. You mean?
I recognize that there was going to be an opportunity later, and I've been eyeballing this thing. I've been here and there. I've mentioned it 2 or 3 times on the channel over the last 90 days.
Yeah, that's why I'm familiar with it. I'm pretty sure I've heard you talking about it
Yeah, but
more
dude,
than
like I
anybody
was
else.
in this thing back in the day, dude. Like over here, look at this. November of 2021, I had sold contracts, got 5,200, lost money, lost like 4 grand right there. And then I did it again. I got 14,000 and I closed them out for 5. So I made 9. So collectively I had made $5,000. So then I was like, okay, remembering that, like having that track record with them. And again, this was way early, dude, way early. But I was like, I think I'm okay with a little feeler bet here, see what happens. And then maybe I'll look to sell cover calls if it pushes over the $4 range and just kind of go from there. But I would like to build a 50,000 share position in that company if the things start falling into place. If they don't, well then it'll just stay there and also cover calls and see if I can manufacture the win that way. Because this is all pre-revenue shit, right? The only thing that
Yep.
they got coming in is essentially big investors that want to partner with them, so to speak.
Yep.
The Delta.
See, to me, these companies feel like they should be. So, just my investing style. Okay, nothing against the company, nothing against anybody who's chosen to invest in it. Okay, I mean, being able to speculate
Yeah.
like that is excellent. And look, there's a lot of companies that I'm sure we would love to speculate in that are not open, right? I mean, we would all love to say we were SpaceX shareholders by now, right? Especially
Yeah.
after this past weekend, but you can't buy that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot more risk when the company is doing its own development as a public company rather than doing its development privately and then going public once it has a real product to sell, right?
Yeah. And I think, but
So
a lot of
so my
these
personal
companies go
investing.
public to raise money, right? Like that's
Yep,
what they
yep.
do.
I'm just saying, so my personal investing style that is for private equity. Now, I'm not against doing private equity. I just did a private equity deal this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, and I got into a really, really awesome company, you know, pre IPO.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm very excited about that, and I'll disclose that probably sooner rather than later. But I've got to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed on the deal first.
Yeah. That's
Um,
awesome, dude.
so again, I don't have any problem with people speculating on companies that are developing cool stuff.
Yeah, but I think
I'm
that
just not I'm just not
that's the
for it
right
in the
word.
public
Yeah.
markets, if
But
that
that's
makes
the
sense.
right word, Doug, because what I just did, guys, that is not an investment. That I'm speculating. And the reason that it's speculation, Doug, because it's just too fucking early. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's what I mean.
it's
Like
hard to
I would
invest in
feel really
something that isn't
bad,
so tangible.
right? Think about some 24-year-old who's
Yeah.
had a job for 3 years and they've managed to save $2,000 a year or something like that, right? And that's all they've been able to scrape together to save their pennies, and they're going to go full port on the stock. Man, if they put it in Archer Aviation, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It might pay off, it might not, but probably somebody doing their first investment, they don't have the ability to stick with the inevitable downturn that is going to come, because it will. It'll go up, it'll go down, it'll go up, it'll go down before they turn a profit, right? I mean, it's going to
Yeah.
bounce many
Bro, there's
times.
going to be a lot of dilution with this company.
Yep, and that kid will lose a lot of money along the way.
Promise you.
Probably, maybe,
For
So
sure.
that's what I feel like these super speculative idea companies
Yeah.
can cost, particularly new retail investors, a lot of money.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm really
Meta Mike asked,
surprised.
did Doug get into SpaceX? No, he did not. Doug actually took the first step to starting his own aerospace company this weekend, though. He got
Sweet.
certified as a high power rocketry. I got high power rocketry certification this weekend.
What do you think about Amazon, dude? This is my pick. This is my pick to like just have a big portion of the portfolio that isn't doing much but doing enough
Yep, that's me too.
to
Amazon.
where I just
People
feel like
talk about Google being the best value. I'm like, okay, Google's great and all, but everybody buys everything from Amazon all the time. I I, I don't see that going away.
yeah, but that's not even where Amazon makes money, dude.
I
So
know it's not.
The thing that we
everybody
all
talks
know
about
them
how much
for isn't
the
even where they make money. So
Wall Street hates it, and I'm like, but that's what everyone uses. Okay, AWS is the where the underappreciated value is at. But I just know that Amazon is something everybody uses every day
yeah, agreed.
now. So I have no problem buying buying Amazon stock. Um,
What are
I
your thoughts on
have
Hood?
I love Hood, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think
and
about? What do you think
it's
about?
already exceeded my price target for this year.
Me
I
too.
had I had calls on Robinhood that I bought back when it was like 7
Oh
for
wow.
$20, and they were expiring this December. So I got out of those calls already because I was up like 1,800%. And, at that point, you know, every cent that it swung up and down, I felt like I was losing money on, and I couldn't sleep at night. So I got out of the options and I'm in shares. So I used all that money to buy shares. So I have a lot less um, to gain when the stock goes up $1 than I used to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because now I have one share where before that $25 represented, you know, what, probably like 600 shares, because they were options contracts. Um, so I have a lot less leverage now, but yeah,
Right.
I think Hood is in the portfolio for a very, very long time to come because they're innovating. And SoFi got the good news this week, but I got the user survey from SoFi this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they wanted to know, they're asking, users, blah, blah, blah. When I bought into SoFi, I set up an account. I thought we were going to move everything there. And I started using the app a little bit and was like, this is
Not good.
not, it's not ready for me yet. That's for sure. And it's just been, every time I've examined it, it's been a hard pass, but I couldn't wait to get my money into Robinhood once they showed me all the bonuses and everything that we're given. So sorry, SoFi. And then you went and you pawned off. And then I said, oh, I'm starting a business. I'll do my business banking at SoFi, my personal banking at SoFi, my insurance there, my student loan, blah, blah. I'll have it all at
Yeah.
SoFi. And the interface sucks. And they spun off and third partied out their business. So
Yeah.
no thanks. I'm long SoFi, y'all, like thousands and thousands of shares. Not TJ's position, but I still have thousands and thousands of shares in SoFi. I'm long in the position, but I cannot uh I cannot say that I am happy with what I see coming out of the company. I
Yeah.
do not again, the big news today was they got someone to come in and partner with them on expanding what? Loans,
Yeah.
acting like a bank.
Yep.
Imagine what the stock would have done if they said they had a $2 billion uh
Galileo
customer
drill.
for Galileo.
Yeah.
This thing would be trading at 25 already. Okay. Like,
Yeah. But that's the thing, dude, is like they can't give you any metrics for any of that stuff. Tough, bro. It's tough. It's tough, tough, tough. And it's like everybody just always wants to talk about the banking because that's all that I think that's all we have.
yep.
That we can sink our teeth, wrap our minds around right
Yep.
now.
Slim futures, to dial back just a little bit. I like to mention what people talk about in the chat.
Hmm.
Um, the just to go back, DOJ wants to split Google, to split Chrome and Android out of Google. Um, how do you feel about that, TJ? Basically, separate the operating system from search, because Google is almost an extra layer of operating system that sits on top, or Chrome is almost an extra layer of operating system that sits on top of Windows now, because you can do so many things just from inside Chrome, right? And then
Yeah.
Android being the phone OS. Shem, I've heard people make very good bull cases for how that would be good to everybody involved. It would be good for Google, it would be good for those individual groups, and it would be good for um, for the public and for the investors. I'm just not a fan of the government forcing someone to do that. I would rather the market make the best case for Google to do that, and then Google say, "Hey, we have a much better opportunity if we split up." I'm just generally against the government deciding that, because I don't think it's fair that they jump on Google one way and they don't jump on Microsoft for its positions in like
Yeah.
with its positions
So
in
my
AI, which is now
position.
closed AI, and look, there's a bunch of financial chicanery going on there as well.
Yeah. My position is not going to happen, and I don't like to talk about things that are very unlikely to happen. I think that it's just politicians being politicians, and they're like, "Hey, vote for me. I'm doing stuff." Right?
Yeah,
It's just like when people start talking about we're coming after your guns. Shut up with all that bullshit. It's not happening. So it's like this is just it's not it's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. These companies have gotten so damn big. They're more solvent than the government. And then the government
yep,
just needs to be like, hey, I'm glad that you're an American company at this point. You know what I mean?
yep.
Like the government, I mean, what do you can't even get your fucking own balance sheet in order, bro. You're gonna sit there and talk to the Googles of the world that have grade A balance sheets. They don't need your fucking money. They don't need your blessing for anything. They figured it out. Like, why don't y'all figure out on not going, $5 trillion in debt this year? Like work on something like that. Like let's start baby steps for you guys. So I just think that I always wonder, this is a little bit off topic, but I always wonder, bro, couldn't you get all these brilliant minds at the Amazons, the Googles? I'm talking about, the fucking the Jeff Bezoses of the world, the Elon Musks of the world, the Bill Gates of the world. And couldn't you get them to fix the national deficit? Because they know how to make profit.
You could, but do you have any idea how much money they're collecting from
I,
the
dude,
national deficit
I
already?
mean,
Like,
but what I'm saying is there's a reason why nobody cares. Because I'm just saying, like, if it's something that really needed to be remedied, like, I feel like it could be remedied.
um, there was years and years ago. Now, people have different positions on him now than they did at the time. But Jack Welch wanted to be president of the United States. You would have a hard time telling me that there is someone less qualified just from an executive experience, decision making um, ability, and their understanding on how business works and how business and government interact than Jack Welch, right? His people wouldn't let him run
Hmm.
because of the shenanigans and all of the junk that people are going to say about you and the damage to a reputation and the damage that could have happened to General Electric if he had done that. Now, I mean, General Electric fell apart after he left, so maybe it was going to always do what it did. But um, I really think that politics, being what it is, precludes us having our best and brightest entering those fields.
Yeah.
Plus, we have a lot of the best people anyway are immigrants and not eligible for the presidency.
Uh,
Now, that doesn't mean they
yeah.
can't also run for Senate, but I mean, ask yourself, would you rather Elon be building awesome cars and giant rockets that get caught out of midair, or would you rather have him arguing with, at Meet the Press over blah, 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 and handling, every small time person's, social security problems through his Senate office?
Yeah, but I mean, isn't he willing to work with Donald Trump to do stuff?
I don't think he's willing to give up his current jobs to do that. When he says work with, he means advise. Like, wasn't he on the Council of Advisors before? He's not going to take an official position in the government.
Yeah, I don't think they want to get pay cuts. Is that what you're saying? So, guys, I am focused again. You know why? because I fixed the fucking tracker. I like the tracker again. Take everything I said back about the tracker. Me and the tracker were good. We broke up for a little bit. Sorry,
We didn't
sorry,
we didn't
sorry.
have a
Broke
funeral
up for a
even.
little bit.
We didn't even have a funeral.
So it turned out that there was user error on my part.
Oh man, I hate it when
But
that
can we
happens.
talk about this position right here? Because I've been wanting to get a hold of Amit, but Amit's out there living his best fucking life with his little fancy silk pajamas, and I'm over here navigating this fucking Robin Hood position that's kind of a pain in my ass right now. So we got this 21.17 average. So that part's all good, right? But, of course, I got covered calls at 26. Mind you, I've already rolled these because these were at 25. And then I rolled them 1650.
Can y'all see this? This is when your alarm or your phone starts chucking off the hook in a single day and it won't shut up with alarms. These are the good ones to have.
Yeah. Unless you got covered calls.
Up 10%, up 5, up 9, up 10. I got covered calls, but they were out of the money. So I'll take that capital appreciation, buddy.
There's for the tracker, guys. WDShirt777 @gmail.com. Little Alex will get it to you guys. But anyway, dude, so we got 10,000 shares. 5,000 of them are unencumbered. And then these covered calls are obviously, causing problems, but not like a lot of problems. It's problematic, but it's not stressful, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I am not that emotionally attached to these shares at all. I'm happy to be up money, and I'm also happy if I sold all 10,000 shares right now, or we could fast forward to November the 15th, because I wouldn't want to give any of this money back on the covered calls, right?
Yep.
And I'm totally okay, not even being in the position. So that's a very powerful position to be in, is when you can just play the math, Doug, and you don't give a shit one way or the other whether or not the ticker's in the portfolio. And that is something that I'm trying to graduate to. In other words,
I've tried that a couple times as a wheeler.
Yeah.
Trying to wheel a portfolio and be completely unemotional, right? And say, I set the sell price for this. If it gets sold at that, that's my win, right? Now, collect your money and go sell the put, right?
Yeah.
Keep the wheel turning, right? Just keep it turning. But you've watched this stock run up now, and you don't want to let go of your shares. So you keep rolling out and rolling out. Where the true wheeler, right? It's a circle. It's not a staircase with a loop back, right? It's a circle, right? And once it hits your price, you let it go and you get back in, and you take that cash and sell the put. You just keep compounding it, right?
Yeah. I think the issue is, Doug, is people realize that, hey, it's a lot easier to just make money. The shares go up.
It is a lot easier.
And that's the reality, right? Because over there, you don't have to work. You just kind of sit and wait. So I think, but my issue is when are we going to sell covered calls on these? Are we going to wait till after the event? Because the event, this weekend, I think, right?
The Robin Hood event? Yeah. That's the 16th.
Legend. Yeah, the legend thing. So that's Thursday, I think. I have the riot thing going on Thursday, so
the 16th is Wednesday.
Okay, well, mine's on the 17th for riot, but I'm just kind of thinking, this is a month out, right? Just kind of thinking, would it be the worst thing to sell 50 contracts over here and bring in a cool, whatever that is, a cool $6,000? And then you're agreeing to sell them at 15-20% more than it's trading at now.
If I say yes and it works out, will you buy me a steak dinner?
I'll buy you a steak dinner. You don't have to do that for me. I just got to get to your area over there by Kima. But what I'm saying is, I feel like that $6,000 bill is nothing to sneeze at. And then we're talking about selling this shit at 30. I mean, that valuation at 30 does feel a little rich right now. I mean, what's the market cap on Robinhood right I mean, we're talking about a $23 billion company, yo.
I do not. I mean, you're talking to me like I'm a mitt and I have all these numbers off the top of my
Yeah.
head. No, I'm old and I have to actually look them up whenever anybody asks me.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, I'm not opposed to, obviously I'll wait till after the earning or the deal, but the issue is the volatility's gone. So those prices might not be the same on the covered call side of things. So I am tempted to reach out to Amit and be like, hey, how do you feel about some $30 calls here, and just to bring some premiums through the door, because that'll help me to roll the $26 calls, right? Because you got that extra little cushion. So that's the reason why I like to try to bring some premiums through the door if I needed to help me navigate another trade that I'm already in, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So just an idea, just an idea. So
Well, just full disclosure, my Robinhood position is like the only stocks that I own that I do not have covered.
yeah, right
I
now.
was so long on those from the options and just saw where that company was going, and I'm like, there's no way in the next 2 years I'll be able to predict the 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 top.
Yeah, but
So just get out of the way.
this is a good teaching segment, guys, because check this out. This person over here, I'm Beneficial, sub 25 billion and growing 40% year over year right now, trading at slightly above market multiples with many catalysts ahead. That's all fair. But here's the disagreement for someone like me who sells options as a living. And I'm not disagreeing with that. This is just the counterpoint. Does that make sense, right? Like, a lot of times when people put up an argument, they automatically think that you're disparaging the other argument or the validity. That's not what I'm doing here. Just as a disclosure or a disclaimer up front. I'm not arguing with I'm Beneficial. Here's my issue. My issue is, if I know that this $26 cover call that I'm currently in is going to be problematic, do I use the other 5,000 shares as a revenue stream to go fix that trade versus just digging into my pocket, right? Like, it's like you have a hotel, the left wing's rented, the right wing isn't. You need to go fix damages on the left wing. You could use revenue from the right wing to fix those damages, or you could potentially be causing more damages to the right wing later, right? Like, those are all the things. And my whole thing is, I'm still not emotionally attached to the stock. I don't think I'm ever going to be emotionally attached to the stock or the company for that matter, because there are some things that brokerage does that I do not like. If it was not for their user interface, I would not have the money in Robinhood right now. Just full disclosures all the way around on this channel, right? Like, I'll give you all the transparency on this channel. So I'm not opposed to, maybe not right here, right now, but if Robinhood goes up another $1, it's going to be real hard for me to not want to sell covered calls on those, knowing that I can manage them. A, and B, when people talk about these potential run-ups at the opportunity cost, but you're not willing to convince me that you're willing to sell on that run-up, then your argument has zero fucking validity. Because we're talking about an unrealized paper gain that's going to cause me from making real fucking dollars, Doug. That doesn't math to me. Did I lose you, Doug, or do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No. I understand what you're trying to say.
What I'm saying is, if you are not going to sell right now, anyway, then why do you want to just not bring any money in, especially if you think $30 is out of the fucking question? I don't think Robinhood is going to $30 right here, right now. And if it did, that would be a problem that I would welcome into my life, because that is a super, super positive problem in my mind. So I just don't understand that. When people are like, I'm not selling cover calls right here, right now, but I'm also not going to sell these shares if it runs up all fucking crazy. I'm like, I don't understand how I don't understand that logic. It doesn't compute in my mind. If I'm looking at using a strike price that I feel like is unreasonable for evaluation right here, right now, after the event, we could be singing a different tune though, right? Because Robinhood is gonna really unveil some things that make it feel in my mind that it could be a $40 billion company with relative ease, then that makes a lot of sense. But for what it is right here, right now, I'm like thinking 30, 31 bucks, 32 for sure. Get out of here. Like it ain't going to 32. And I'm okay being wrong. And I'm also okay with the shares not being in the portfolio, right? So I feel like I have all the leverage here because I literally just don't give a shit about the ticker, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you don't care, then that's the best place to be.
Yeah.
I will admit I care whether or not I have Robinhood in my portfolio right now.
I'm just saying, if I sold them at 32, what's to stop me from selling cash secure puts at 30?
There's nothing.
Like it doesn't even
I mean,
fucking matter.
that's why you're better at this than I am. No
Yeah.
lie. No lie. That's why you're better at this than I am.
Like, oh my God,
That's why you've got all those commas in your accounts, and I have less. So you're better at it than I
I
am.
don't know. I do, but again, I sell options so I could bring revenue through the door, right? Because that's the livelihood. The share price appreciation is kind of like the bonus, right? It's the cherry on top for me. And whenever there is that to be had, right, like that bonus, then you got to pick your spots because your life's a lot easier if you can just write up shares the way that I've written up Palantir. Because even the fact that in spite of the fact that I have the cover calls at 12, 35, and 45, Palantir has still been good to the tune of about $600,000 to the good.
Yep.
In spite of doing it all wrong on the cover call side, right? Could be
Yep.
closer to like 700 or 800,000 had it not been for the cover calls. But I'll take the 500 or 600 all day long anyway. So that's the thing, It's the.
I heard a comment at my rocket launch this weekend, and I thought it was very wise, and just share it with you because it's applicable to me right here, right now. And it was, experience is the best teacher in the world. What's the best way to learn from experience? Learn from someone else's experience.
Yeah. So
it's cheaper.
That's wisdom. That's wisdom.
It's cheaper. Okay. So I am unfortunately learning from my own experience here, though.
Yeah. Oh,
and that's the cover calls I have on Palantir going way bad.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. God.
So I'm envisioning another run up similar to that. And in this case, I don't want to be caught picking up pennies in front of the steamroller.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear you. But I think that these conversations are what help you grow because
they are for
the
sure.
old TJ would sell the covered calls and deal with the issues. But I've learned that being patient is definitely proven, especially in a crazy bull market like we're in, to be better than just like no matter what, no squatters, right? I hate squatters, get out the raid, all that stuff, right? Like, treat them like cockroaches. But I think they like picking your spots and selling covered calls so that you're enjoying that capital appreciation. That way, if those covered calls do get challenged, now you're really in a situation where like, hey, you could take these shares, I made so much money. Versus thinking of, how much money I left on the table because I sold the cover calls prematurely. Kind of like the way that I was able to close out those covered calls because I was willing to lose 10,000 when I got into them because that's how much I was willing to buy in puts. Like that's how I came to that determination on those $9 cover calls on SoFi. I was literally going to buy $10,000 worth of puts just to protect the portfolio. I'm like, why not just sell some cover calls very aggressively? And and off the off chance that it works out, you got lucky and you didn't have to pay any money. It didn't work out that way, right? So here we are.
My other issue is I do have a full-time day job.
Yeah.
And it's technically a holiday today, so I'm able to kind of.
What is it today? Is it Columbus or what are we doing?
Yeah, today? Columbus Day today.
So let's end on this. Let's end on this note.
Okay, let's end it. Okay.
Because I got shit to do. How can you discover something that was already there?
Well, that's the eternal question, right? Is math
No, I'm
invented
just
or is it
saying.
discovered?
I'm
It,
just saying, how are you going to discover America if the Native American Indians were already
well, you discovered it to the cultures that had writing in Europe.
there?
So our civilization, Western civilization, it was the discovery.
Did he
I mean,
discover it because the Queen said he discovered it, or what?
no, he discovered it because nobody in Europe had ever seen it, had ever heard of it before.
Oh, interesting.
But I mean, same principle, right? Is math invented or is it discovered?
Yeah,
Is engineering like did Elon discover something
yeah.
when he learned how to land a rocket? And he said, "Well, we're not breaking the laws of physics, so it should be possible."
I just think that the people with the money and the literacy, the education, they're always going to control the narrative. And
The people who write generally will. Yep.
yeah, that's why the pen is mightier than the sword, right?
In many ways, yes.
Uh, Interesting.
Um,
What's going on with Neo? Hold on, real quickly. I just can't
yeah,
get off of
Neo's
here. Neo tanking or what?
that's okay.
Hello?
Today I have all day to trade. Other days I don't. That's why I was also saying that sometimes I worry about my risk of being able to manage my trades because I'm working all day.
Oh, here we go. That's good news. That's good news because I didn't like these cover calls. This is something that I want to be able to remedy because I got caught. Oh, here we go. It's getting a little bit better. Still a long way to go though. I want to bring those back in sell monthlies. You know what I mean? Because I think that Neo will definitely go to $8 at some point. I just think it's going to happen a lot faster than January of 2026. So I don't want to be in this situation, but we're here now. So I have other positions to kind of like help me out. That's why I've got the 400 cash secured puts here. And then I've got the 500 buys here. But I was thinking about adding 500 buys here to free up some of these covered calls. That way, if there's like a premature run up to like 750 or so, I would reserve the right to like sell, like 50,000 of those shares and kind of minimize this position, if you will.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's
not gonna lie to you. I don't mess with Neo. My brother had a bunch of it and got burned bad by it. Um,
that
and
is
like the first time he asked me about it, I thought he was asking me about the crypto Neo.
right.
So he's like, "Oh, you got to buy Neo," and I went out and bought NEO, the crypto,
Oh God.
which was the Chinese Ethereum
Is it
in like
really? No,
2017 or so, and it was doing well too. So I was like, "Oh yeah, let me go do this."
that is funny. That is funny. So what do you think about Enphase, dude? Do you think that because my wife thinks that we don't need any exposure to Enphase because we have Tesla. That's been her stance from day one. Like she was so opposed to that entire position as I was building it before.
I don't have any problem owning Pepsi and Coke,
Uh-huh.
right? Because then they can compete against one another. Either way, you're making the alpha on it,
Right.
right? The
And
only the only thing being Tesla has a lot more upside, I think, because they have so many verticals, including AI and all this other stuff now, where Enphase is just solar energy, and with the price of oil staying low, um, and it looking less and less likely that Harris is uh, not to be political, but I think that's the market basically telling you what they think is going to happen
me too.
by selling Enphase. Because remember, like after the debate when it looked like Trump was in a lot of may have been in a lot of trouble and Kamala was gaining a lot of traction,
Right.
Enphase started going up,
Right. Agreed.
and now it as we hear, oh, Trump's making a lot of progress in swing states and stuff like that, and phase is starting to go back down again. So it's not poly market election markets, but it's the I think it's a reasonable facsimile for that. So I look at the end phase price as a guy who owned it and lost a lot of money on it, rode it from
Yeah.
135 all the way down to the 60s. And then said, I got to dump this to buy something more important, which was my Robinhood calls. Yeah.
So speaking of
I still
Robinhood,
follow it, but I follow it now as a representation of what the market thinks the political environment is going to be.
yeah. So speaking of Robinhood, I have another angle for Robinhood. So what if this is right after the event? I'm able to sell covered calls because now we have information, right? So we're not guessing. But in the interim, to help me fix the other situation with these covered calls that I don't want to kick out too long. In fact, I don't really even want to kick them out at all. What if I look at selling more covered calls, like over here, and I look to sell over here in this $24 range? Like if
Selling in the money.
no, these are out of the money.
Oh, those are CSPs.
Yeah. So what if I did that?
Sorry, you just said covered calls. That's why I didn't understand. Okay.
Oh, sorry. No, so I'm saying, why don't I sell more cash secured puts at 120? And then it's like now I don't have to roll those covered calls until it's like D-Day, so to speak. I can milk all the extrinsic value because some of that money that I'm leaving on the table, I'm picking it up over here on cash secured puts anyway. And then if it tanks, well, then obviously those covered calls are going to print. The shares are no longer printing, and then I'll be managing these cash secured puts. Hopefully they announce a lot of positive things in this Legend deal. And now I've got an opportunity to build like a really, really substantial position in Robinhood. Because again, just like I don't mind if these shares aren't in the portfolio, I also don't mind if this turns into a $20,000 position or a 20,000 share position. So that's, that's something that's interesting there too. I mean, because I feel like they got.
So
I feel like this company has a lot of mojo. It has a lot of mojo.
Yeah, it does. I think that is a safe collection too. I mean, unless they poop the bed here, I don't see it going down.
Yeah.
Between now and the end of the year, because they're gonna announce that they made a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, but bro, with Bitcoin going up right now and it's Bitcoin season, I mean, that's just like even another catalyst for this fucking crazy.
I mean, I have no problem with you acquiring long positions in Hood.
Yeah.
Or
what about this? Because this is the other strategy that I use, but this one costs money.
What's your ROI on that? For the cash you're putting up, for the amount of time you're gonna have it take, for the amount of time that buying power is frozen.
Not bad, bro. It was like over 4% for the month.
All right, well, that sounds like a pretty good month.
Yeah. I don't think y'all think Amit would be opposed to me selling these cash secured puts right here. Hasn't he been posting that he's been buying like 10 shares here and there?
He would not be opposed to it.
Yeah, I'm just saying because I've been, but I like it at 25. I'm more aggressive.
Okay, well, I think we should just go ahead and make it official. I now speak for Amit.
What's up?
I now speak for Amit.
Okay, awesome.
Amit would not have a problem with this. We didn't sign any contracts, but I'm signing off for Amit.
So people are like, it's going to go down, but let's not discount how much it can go up before then.
Yep, Beneficial's right. Yeah, what goes up must come down, but it doesn't. It's not going to come all the way down. We can speak for Amit. We sign off also.
Dude, I think I'm cool over here at $1 because that's Amit's like real conservative with these cash secured puts, right?
Yeah.
So can somebody help me out? Can somebody help me out with the math? Is that worth? I feel like it's worth it. Tie up 120, you get 5. That feels like 4% in a month. Nah, I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, it's like 4.2% actually, 4.1.
There we go. There's that. So now that cash secured put, well, now that covered call all of a sudden doesn't feel so painful, right? Because now I've got a little bit of a strangle going over here. You see how you can fix things with money and courage and conviction?
Yep.
So why is this exercise important? Is because guys, the reason you get stuck in some of these fucking positions is because you're undercapitalized. You're undercapitalized. You've got to be able to manufacture the win. And you can't think your way through some of these things. You're gonna have to put some action. Unfortunately, that action in this business requires a lot of dollars at times. And that's why I don't mess with, Berkshire. Because it can't be wrong, Doug. The shit goes down. Well, I mean, I already got
Yep.
my 100 shares. You know what I'm saying? There ain't shit else I can do. So I'm just saying, don't put yourself in a situation to where you have to be right now. That's your quote of the day. Don't
Okay.
put yourself in a situation, Dougie, where you have to be right now.
That does make things difficult.
Because, bro, that is not a good situation to be in.
I have found that when I have wanted to use money that I had in my brokerage, and this is just me. This is the rule of Doug. Okay, Murphy's law kicking in. So it's like, whenever I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use some money in this deal to buy a part of a business or to finance, the solar panels on my house, or whatever I'm gonna use this money for that we have built in the portfolio. Okay,
Right?
about a week before I'm planning on needing it, the market takes a dump.
Right?
And so it was like, oh yeah, I wanted $50,000 to buy this other thing. Well, you lost 120 this week. Like,
Right.
and now you have to sell because you've still gotta do that deal. Like, so
Yeah.
it's like you have the forced sell almost at the wrong time. So um that's another thing that I've learned this year is it never hurts to keep some cash on the side, because then you can do the things you want to do without having to eliminate a position.
Yeah.
But I was also getting 5% on that cash, so it wasn't terrible. If they get down to getting us 2% again or less on our cash, then we may have to revisit that idea. The rule of Doug. Thanks. That's what I want to be known for. Beneficial.
Oh, guys, I gotta get rocking and rolling. I just looked at you. Just the cost basis on Robinhood is 1585 now. I like it.
That is solid.
I
You'll be up.
like.
You'll be up 100% by the end of the year.
I like it. I like that. I like that 24 put, dude. I like that 24 puts. 100 of them paid 4 or 5 grand, whatever the hell it was. Not bad, dude. I mean, that's not bad on $120,000 in capital with a company that's got all the mojo and stuff. And also, I mean, at $24, granted, I can manage it, roll to 23, 22. Maybe at 22, I feel a little bit more excited about taking ownership. But
Yeah.
I just feel like 3 to 5 years, if this starts turning in, because it's graduating towards a long-term hold in my mind, right? Because the more you read on the company, et
Yeah.
cetera, it's hard to deny that the company itself is going up into the right trajectory wise. The stock's a different thing. I'm talking about the company, like the company, bro, the underlying. I feel like they're doing pretty well.
And let me ask you one more question before you leave. This is on a specific trade, so you should be able to give a quick thumbs up or thumbs down.
I would exercise about 2 weeks before the expiration if it's still going up and to the right. Go ahead, bud.
All right, this is a covered call.
Go ahead.
Amazon 220 November 15th expiration. All right.
220 cover call.
Yep. I've
Yeah.
already captured 56% of the total value. Okay. That
Yeah.
that cover call is also on the other side of earnings.
Right. That ain't going to 220, bro. There's no way, dude. Amazon's a huge ass company. You know what you're asking it to do at 220?
Yeah. Well, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
We're just asking um, Bezos to not sell at 200.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying, but he's our Bollinger Band, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's their market top. People are like, "There's no such thing as a triple top," just like it is when Bezos is selling it there.
They need to have the fucking Bezos moving average.
Yeah. So here's the question. So take your 56% that you've already made, and you know exit the position, get your liquidity back, and now be ready to
But I guess
put that
what's
somewhere else, let it compound.
it's a
Or
good
hang on.
question. It's a good question, but here's the issue. You're not going to sell any cover calls right now anyway. If you take that off the table, and it's so far out of the money right now, I feel like you're just giving money back. Because
Okay.
even if it gets challenged, well, shit, will you just roll them up $5 another month? Because Amazon's because you're so in control of this thing right now. And even if you give all this money back, how are you going to make it back?
Okay. I just see this being the time where he doesn't sell at 200, and then they have a good earnings, and this thing rips.
To 220 though?
Well, from 200 to 220 is 10%, and this thing has been coiling. It's been reaching the Bezos limit at 200. I think there's a lot of appetite for this thing to
So
bounce
then,
higher.
so then I think you might have answered your own questions. When's earnings?
It is October 24th.
So then why not milk another week or two of data decay? And now maybe you're at 60% and you don't feel as bad about it. Because I think you're going to put those cover calls on again. I think you'd be more
Yeah.
comfortable at what, 225, 230? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just not comfortable holding on to an options position that's getting close to 60%. My personal rule is when you get to 60, collect.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense on a cash secured put. But on a cover call, it's a rental, right? So on a cover, because a lot of cover calls for mine expire worthless. Because if I collected that rent and I have no one else to rent it to, then I just really killed my ROI on that rental. Because if you get essentially what you're saying is you're evicting the renter early, right? When you're closing
Mm-hmm.
at a covered call. But then what renter are you going to put in there right now? And that renter's good. He's already shown you that he's not destroying your house. He paid you a fair value for being there for another, month from today, right? Give or take, because we're 10. Yeah, it's a month from today, right?
Yep.
And he's in there. You've already checked on the property. He's not destroying anything. Worst case scenario, goes under pressure. That just means that your underlying is printing money. Congratulations. Your next round of cover calls is going to be real juicy because you'll collect a lot more money if Amazon's trading in that 215 range versus what it is right now. So it's real hard for me to see any downside in your situation right now. So the question becomes, why do you want to give back this $300, $400, $500, whatever it is to buy to close when you can't bring any money through the door right now? Because you're not going to be comfortable selling cover calls since then. My wife's got to go though. I got to go.
Yep.
But my wife's
That's why I asked the question, everybody. You saw the question I had. All
good
right.
stuff, dude. Appreciate you guys. TJ Will Deal signing off as always. Guys, stay blue, Sox green, peace out. God bless you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, baby doll. I just logged off right now. I said the wife's calling.